Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Juice Podcast on the Betting Pros Network. I'm your host, Sean, stacking the money green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, the juice is being brought to you by BetMGM. Use a promo code JUICE, and a $10 bet turns into $200 if either team scores a touchdown. Good for college and pro. Restrictions apply. All right, 3-3 on the slate. But fortunately, one of my wins was a 2-unit play. So a positive night, a wild night with the props, with the game. I'd say I'm up about 0.7 units. We'll let the number crunchers take care of the sorting through what exactly I'm up or down. BYU got the win. Did not get the cover, laying the big points there with the 24. Maybe it was a look ahead spot for them against Notre Dame. I don't know. This was a weird game. They were going back and forth. I mean, it was tied at half. They really let Utah State hang around. But then, late in the fourth, they're up 18. They're driving. They have a chance to cover the 24. They don't get any points there. And then Utah State gets a touchdown late. So didn't get the win, didn't get the cover there. First prop bet. Mike Gesicki under receiving yards. Man, was this close. I gave it out at 20.5. He ended up getting 23. So maybe they're, the interesting thing about prop bets is, they really are all over the place. So maybe someone got a late 23.5 and hit the under. Probably not. But again, he's not a huge part of the game plan. But, 20.5 is so low that, I guess not shocked he got to 23. First touchdown bets didn't hit. But like I said, Trent Sherfield was definitely involved in the red zone. Helped me win some money in DFS, so shout out to him. Wilcox, would have liked to see him get involved a little bit more there. He was in some of the two tight end sets near the goal line. He did have one catch for 18 yards. You got a 40-1. That's kind of what you're looking for there. At least get something going. Hayden Hurst under receiving yards. Wow, I thought this was cooked on that first drive. Gave it out at under 27.5. He comes in with 27 yards. So hopefully you got that 27.5. You were on the under. Man, I thought he was going to get that. And then I thought he actually had got it because I was listening to the game on the radio, driving up to my niece's birthday party, who shout out to my niece. It's her birthday, and she made at school, they had to fill out why they were special, and she said she was special because she was an Eagles fan. So, she's a great niece. Go Birds. But driving up for her birthday party tomorrow, and, man, I was listening on the radio. I thought Hayden Hurst got it on that first drive. So I was counting that as an L for the entire car ride until I got a chance to look at the box score because they're not really announcing the stats on the radio. And we'll get to the radio broadcast here in a second. But Hayden Hurst got the under. I thought the groin injury would impact him more, and it did seem like they were working him back in. So maybe the Wilcox resurgence was just a temporary thing. McPherson over 1.5 field goals. When the Bengals went for it on 4th and 1 within field goal range, didn't get it. I thought this was cooked as well. They hung around. McPherson got his field goals, including he blasted a 57-yarder. It was one of 17-15, so that helped us get the cover there on the 3.5 and hitting the over on the 1.5 field goals. It was just sweet that both those things came together. And rewatching the highlights, man, that thing was good for a mile. And last but not least, Cincy minus 3.5 for the game. I don't even know what to make of this game. I mean, fortunate in some ways that we got the cover. Tua wasn't looking great before the next injury. And again, I didn't think he was going to be 100%. I don't think it certainly didn't sound on the radio he was 100%. He was missing some throws. And then the Tua injury, I mean, on the radio, there you go. Oh, he just dislocated his finger. And then they come back from break and they're carting him off. Scary concussion there. Hopefully the dude's all right. But as far as the game itself, Teddy Bridgewater came in and he looked pretty good. I mean, that's why you pay the vet decent money. Had that deep shot to Tyreek Hill, kept him in the game. Of course, that kind of backbreaking turnover there at the end, which the Kevin Harlan named it the Pepto-Bismol upsetting moment of the game. I'm like, well, maybe for you, Kevin Harlan. I'm sitting on Cincinnati -3.5. Love Kevin Harlan. You got to check out his the viral videos of him like called the drunk guy running around the field or the cat running around the field. Also, I've noticed this tick he does. Everything is either a belt high catch or a belt high snap. He uses, and I would say make this a drinking game, but you're probably listening to the game in the car if you're listening to Kevin Harlan. But if you're at home in a normal environment where you can drink, do a Kevin Harlan drinking game, because the number of times he mentions belt high, now you'll never be able to unhear that. So apologies for planting that seed in your head. All right, enough messing around. Let's get to the picks. First up, college football. This is all college football. UTSA -4 at Middle Tennessee State. You can get that over on WynnBET. That's actually -105. Always like getting that nice little 5% off over at WynnBET. This is just a classic letdown spot for Middle Tennessee State. They beat Miami on the road 45-31. I mean, you come back. That just made their season. So now there's been at home the entire week, just feeling themselves. Massive letdown spot. And I love this Tennessee UTSA team. They're able to throw the ball well. They're able to move in the air, 351 yards passing per game. Also, obviously, it's very fun to do the meep for the road runners. And, you look at the rush yards allowed between the two teams. UTSA, a little deceiving, 213 yards per game. But that includes playing Army, which obviously Army, that's all they do is run the ball. Middle Tennessee State, I think they're averaging over 250 yards per game. I just think UTSA is going to be able to move the ball up and down the field against Middle Tennessee State. So give me UTSA -4. Next up, we got the Washington Huskies at the UCLA Bruins. Give me UCLA +125 on the money line over on Wynn. I just love fading this Washington team right now because their value feels inflated. They're 4-0, but all 4 games have been at home. I mean, this is college football. They have not really been tested. I know their strength of schedule as who they played is probably better, but they're all at home. This is their first road test. Is the UCLA atmosphere going to be lit in the Rose Bowl? I don't know. I don't know if that wine and cheese crowd can really get lit in Pasadena, but it's going to be as close as they can get. And UCLA has some ugly wins, but this is the UCLA team. They play down to competition, but I think they're going to get up for this Washington game. And, Washington can really kind of only do it in the air. Penix, I don't think, has faced a pass rush like this UCLA defense. I think they're going to be able to put him in some 3rd and longs. And again, previously his 3rd down conversion percentage is really high because he hasn't really been tested. And I think this is going to be a really tough test for him. Last but not least, the difference in the game, and because UCLA has a balanced offense, should be able to move the ball fairly easily against Washington. The Bruins can create turnovers. They've turned the ball over or created 8 turnovers so far this season. So I think that continues in a game like this. That is the difference in the game. Last but not least, New Mexico +14 at UNLV, and you can get that over on Wynn as well. I just don't think this New Mexico team is that bad. They have a pass rush. Again, they can get some pressure on the quarterback. New Mexico, as opposed to previous years, they play a relatively clean game. They've only turned it over 4 times this season. They have a quality win over UTEP, which, now after we saw what they did to Boise State, UTEP might be a decent team, or at least, obviously capable of beating Boise State. New Mexico beat them by 17 points. I know it doesn't exactly work out the transitive property there, but for me, the biggest reason I'm taking New Mexico here is this feels like a big look-ahead spot for UNLV. I know they're at home, but next week they got San Jose State, which for me is going to be a much bigger game for this running Rebels team. So I like New Mexico +14 at UNLV. All right, recapping the picks. New Mexico +14 at UNLV. And we got UCLA plus 125 on the money line at home. Last but not least, UTSA -4 over on WinBet at -105. Hey, remember, BetMGM, promo code JUICE. Bet $10 turns into $200 if either team scores a touchdown. Good for college and pro. Follow us on TikTok at Betting Pros. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other show, Sports Gambling Podcast. Just dropped the NFL Props episode for Week 4. Guys, you know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.